Hi everybody, John back again. This video is going to be a bit of a roundup of some of the interaction I've been having with various other VC people. I think last week or the week before, maybe you've seen some of the UK VC people posting videos about the meetup that we all had in Bristol. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, or at least from my point of view anyway. And I'm going to show some records that I've been sent by people, but also talk about another meeting that I had with a VC person the week before last. Okay, so start off. So shortly before Christmas, I received a large parcel in the mail. I was looking out for something to be delivered, but I wasn't expecting quite a giant stack. But it came through. Shortly before that, I think I'd been watching Vinyl Dale. Hi Simon. And he showed this particular record, Visionary, by Gordon Giltrap. I didn't know much about Gordon Giltrap. I knew the name and it sort of sounded familiar, so I looked up, and he's a guitarist, and I thought, well, that sounds great. And I was surprised when Simon said it wasn't sort of to his particular taste and he wasn't planning on keeping it, so I chimed in and said, hey, look, I'll take it off your hands. So he was kind enough to send it to me. Really good record. It's on electric. Apparently, up until this point, most of Gordon Giltrap's records were more sort of acousticy kind of folky type stuff. But with this and then forward, he sort of started getting into more sort of progressive, what should we say? I don't know if you call it progressive rock, but it's certainly a progressiveness about it, and that's really good for me to listen to. I really enjoy that sort of stuff. So this is the record that I was, anticipating receiving from Simon. In the stack he sent was a big bunch of other records. This is what we're listening to now. Los Indios Tabajaras, I can pronounce that. Always in my heart. That's what we're listening to now. So this was in the box of records that Simon sent. Very laid back. I guess an unusual record. I probably wouldn't have picked this up myself, but there's certainly one that I shall be keeping. I like the ambience with it. I like that sort of jolly mood, slow pace, beautiful. Simon knows that I'm a big fan of Oscar Peterson. I think, I'm right in saying that Simon saw one of my earlier videos posted a few years ago, right at the point where I just was starting to learn to like jazz, and I spoke about a record by Oscar Peterson called Hello Herbie. And I was sort of enthusing about it, and he actually went out and bought it, found the actual very same pressing, I believe, and he agrees with me, it's great. So I think that sort of focused him onto Oscar Peterson. So thanks very much for sending me that lovely record. I'm always open for Oscar Peterson records. Simon also included this. This is Ella and Lewis. I will say I've got a couple of good copies of this already. I appreciate you sending it to me, but I hope, if it's okay with you, I'll forward this on to somebody that perhaps doesn't already have it. Great record, thanks. In that pack as well as this is a double album. Ella Fitzgerald sings Rodgers and Hart. What can you say? I mean, there's a lot of tracks on here, and the beauty of Ella Fitzgerald's music is it's always been recorded so beautifully, and her voice is just crystal clear. Lovely stuff. She's a big favourite of mine, and probably out of all the people, she's probably the person that really sort of got me into jazz. Just just for enjoying her sort of, you know, her deliverance and everything like that she does. And yeah, the other stars that are related to her through her music that she's done has sort of, you know, broadened my horizon. I think this one also came in your box as well, Simon. Jazz at the Oberlin. Did you send this to me? I think you did. I can't really remember. There's a bunch of records that I got around about the same time, and yeah, I'm wondering if this got sort of mixed up in it. I don't think it did. I think you did send this. Dave Brubeck Quartet featuring Paul Desmond. Great record. More jazz. Brilliant. Thanks. And then there was a batch of Louis Armstrong. The unforgettable Louis Armstrong. Brilliant. Louis Armstrong Sax Plays Fats. I think I have a copy of this as well, though perhaps with a different cover. This is a nice one, Louis Armstrong Jazz Classics. And then last but not least, Louis Armstrong and Bing Crosby. Lovely. So thanks very much, Simon. Really great stuff. A little bit later, again, just before Christmas, I received another parcel. Another parcel in the mail, and this was completely unexpected. Yeah, it was a lovely surprise when it came. So I got 2 brand new sealed albums sent to me by Hedley. Well, Cosmic Country. Hedley is very much a country fanatic, and I think I've tried sending him stuff before, but I really don't know anything about country, and I probably sent something, you know, dreadful. It's just stuff that had come my way, and I thought, oh, maybe Hedley might like this, so I posted it to him. I think maybe what Hedley's doing, because he's spoken to me before about, yeah, country being, you know, a lot broader than perhaps most people would think, and that's right. Yeah, I remember now. We had this discussion about, you know, country being a lot more influential on sort of rock than I might have even considered. And yeah, there's a lot of people on this, or a lot of artists and bands on this compilation that clearly do have a sort of a foot in the world of country, and this sort of puts them all together. I mean, everybody from, you know, David Crosby, Jesse Davis, Little Feat, Linda Ronstadt, Emmylou Harris, the Monkees, John Prine. I mean, lots and lots of other artists. Grateful Dead even. Really good. I really enjoyed this. Really good. It's just love it, and it's so nice to get a couple of slabs of pristine vinyl. I don't get an awful lot of pristine vinyl, but through the post, you know, without even kind of knowing that it's coming my way, that was a lovely treat. Thank you very much. And then also this Horn Rock, another compilation. It's called Horn Rock and Funky Guitar Grooves. It talks about music, rock music released between 68 and 74. It's got people like Al Cooper, Delaney and Bonnie, Blood, Sweat and Tears, The Flock. Yeah, all great stuff. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of The Flock. Really is sort of does a great job of sort of, you know, broadening my horizon and looking into other types of you know, other sort of directions of music that I like, I suppose. Really good stuff. I really appreciate this, Hedley. Thank you very much. Yeah, what can I say? Again, another couple of slabs. This is a double album. A couple of slabs of beautiful, nicely recorded music. Yeah, wonderful. So a few weeks ago, a bunch of us met up in Bristol for an event that was happening there. It was quite a big record fair, and sadly I couldn't be there from the start. I would have loved to have been, but you know, Saturday mornings tend to be quite busy, and I think if it had been, if we'd been planning on meeting way off far, I would have stood a better chance of being there for the record fair, because I would have probably gone and stayed overnight or something. But Bristol's sort of an hour's drive away from here, so I couldn't really get out of watching my boys play football and all the kind of stuff that goes along with that. Still, I arrived there around about lunchtime, I think, and yeah, they were sort of already sitting in the pub at that point. they probably spent a good few hours at the record fair and thoroughly enjoyed that. But I walked through it in order to find them when I eventually got to Bristol. I took a little peek, but you know how it is. You have to be careful. You kind of think you're just going to spend 5 minutes looking, and all of a sudden 5 hours have gone past. So I just glanced maybe 2 or 3 little things, but then caught myself in time to go off and find them. It was really good to meet up with them again. Real big shame that a couple of us couldn't have been there. Headley couldn't have been there. I think he had a birthday celebration that he had to attend, if I remember right. James Griffiths was also otherwise engaged. I think he did want to be there, but just couldn't make it work together. And then who else wasn't there? Crackling Vinyl, Graham. He's so wanted to come along to these things, but it always just falls on the wrong time for him. So well, hope everybody else will be there next time. So those of us that were there, there was John Dowling, there was Steve Whitty, there was Chris from up in Newcastle, and he came with his wife, and lovely to see her, very, very nice lady. Then there was Martin Parrott, there was Rob Walker joined us for the first time. That was really good, and Steve Alexander as well. Sadly, I didn't get much chance to talk to Steve before he went away. I mean, we chatted a little bit, but not an awful lot. I would like to speak to him much more, but I did get a chance to speak to Rob Walker quite a lot, and that was quite nice too. So in general, it was a good get-together. After we'd looked at a few record shops, I passed the camera around for everyone to say hello. I'll show you that now. It's just a little message from everybody. So here we are sitting in the pub after record shopping. I'm going to pass this around for everyone to say hello. So, right. There you go, John.
Hello there.
Hello, VC.
Hi, VC.
Hello.
Hello.
Live long and prosper. Hello.
So that's everybody. I think that's about the only footage I took, really. And Steve, what you said, it's a shame we didn't get more photographs. Anyway, I'm going to show you records that I got there whilst shopping in Bristol. I bought a copy of this, Magna Carta, Lord of Ages. It's interesting. I mean, I've known about this record for a long time, and just thought to myself, that it's a sort of a look-alike type Roger Dean cover, and I think a few people said, "Oh, it's a Roger Dean cover," and I thought, no, it's not. Just felt sure that I would have known if it was, but yeah, it is. It's actually a Roger Dean cover, which is quite an unusual style for him. Apart from all this sort of stuff, yeah, that's very typical Roger Dean. But I mean, the actual sort of illustration of a hooded monk sort of thing, or a hooded something with no face anyway. Lovely record, really good. Glad to have that. It's always nice to find things like this in the sort of the real life and pick them up. A great record. The other one was one that I ummed and ahed about quite a lot. I heard people, particularly Steve Alexander talking about this before, I think. Pentangle, I didn't have anything by Pentangle before, and various people have said that this is just about their best record. Lovely copy. And yeah, it is. It's very, very nice indeed. I've been getting a little bit more and more into this sort of folk rock stuff recently. I've always been inspired by Steve when he often talks about when the autumn comes, he feels inspired to listen to folky, rocky type stuff. And I quite like that idea, and I've sort of been doing that a little bit myself, because it's not autumn anymore, it's winter, but I still cock an ear to this type of music, and it's really good to pick this up. I was £5 short. The place that was selling this didn't have a card machine or anything like that, and I had cash, but I was £5 short. So the man directed me to go to a cash point. I've got a terrible sense of direction, and I could have easily got lost in Bristol looking for this cash point. And nicely enough, Steve Whitty said, I'll lend you £5 and you can go and get it now. So yeah, he whipped out a £5 note, gave it to me, and I went back and got this. So that was really good of you, Steve. Thanks very much. £5 on its way to you, and I pulled my finger out. Yeah, great record. Martin Parrott had brought along some records, and well, I'm going to show you this one, Rock Bark to Me. Now, I really like the cover of this, and when he pulled it out, I thought, yeah, that looks really good, really. And it's got this catch line, an adaptation of J.S. Bach for the 70s. And I thought, well, anything that's adapted for the 70s got to be good, you know. But I must admit, it's a bit twee. It's a bit too Muzak for me. So I don't intend to hang on to this, Martin. Well, I mean, the cover is nice. I really liked it, and I was hoping for something a bit more sort of psychedelic or something, but no, it's a bit too, yeah, it's really not for me. But the other record that Martin had been saving for me was this. It's Too Late, Wilson Pickett. It's my very first Wilson Pickett record. Didn't have anything by him before. I'd heard various people that are fans of soul music talk about him. And there we go, there's the label. What's that called? And it's one of those new fancy schmancy heavy 180 gram records. So very happy to receive this lovely record. Been enjoying this. Wilson Pickett is certainly someone that I'm going to start perhaps pursuing. Again, I'll say that it's unusual that I've just, in recent years, starting to listen out a little bit more to soul and finding something of interest in there. This is one of those great soul records that's is really comfortable to listen to. So, thanks very much, Martin. Last weekend, I believe, no, it was the weekend before that, I'd arranged to meet up with another VC guy. This is Sean from, I believe, North Wales, and he and I have been corresponding, and incredibly, he's sort of more familiar with, I think, the record shops in Cardiff than I am. I knew he was coming down, so we agreed to meet in Kelly's Record Store in Cardiff, in the indoor market. And talking about storms, there's been a lot of storms, as you know, here recently, and the traffic was so slow, so I was about 20 minutes late in meeting him, but I got there eventually, and it was nice to see him. it's always interesting, you know, when you finally get to meet someone that you've been watching on video for a while. It feels a little bit like, almost a little bit like you're meeting a celebrity, because you kind of have a little bit of an inside idea of that person through watching them on the screen, and then all of a sudden they're face to face, and you see who they are, and that's quite nice. Hello everybody.
Hello.
John here. We're in Cardiff Market, indoor market, and just up there is Kelly's record store. Lots of records. And I've come along to meet with Sean here. What's the name of your channel?
SW Studio Productions.
Okay, so we're having a nice cup of coffee and a glass of milk, and we're doing a bit of record talk. So we met in Kelly's, and we spent a little bit of time flipping through records, as you do there. He bought, I think, a couple of 12 inches, and I brought home this. This is the first album by the Montrose, and I'd been curious about this because yeah, there's some sort of reference to this being sort of an answer to the American Led Zeppelin. I mean, it doesn't sound like Led Zeppelin. I think the point really was that it was sort of this band were, you know, had potential of becoming that great big sort of stadium filling act that would, you know, appeal to people that like the sort of the large size of the fame of Led Zeppelin. I must admit, I've never been a huge fan of Sammy Hagar, but on this it's good. I mean, this is a classic album, and I've listened to it in that vein, and it's great. I can see why it's so popular. It's got a lot of consistency to it, and some great tracks on here. The classic track being Space Station Number 5, for instance. Yeah, it's sort of made me think that I really do need to, you know, go back and investigate this band a lot more. I think I've got some more of their albums under M somewhere that I've kept and thought, well, maybe I'll enjoy them sometime in the future. And well, now's the time to kind of pull those out again, because yeah, like I said, this one is top notch. Recommend it. And yeah, for some strange reason, apparently it appears on various lists as being sort of heavy metal, but it's not really heavy metal, but it is hard rock. The last record I'm going to show today now is the record that Sean sent me through the post. This arrived yesterday. It's the live album by The Jam. Yeah, Sean and I were talking about music, about records and things, and he said that he had a copy of this. I can't remember how it came into the conversation, but he said he had a copy of this, and said that he'd happily send it to me if I was interested. So I said, yeah, of course. I didn't have it, and it's a brilliant record, a classic album. I can't understand, Sean, why you don't like it, because it's very, very good. But hey, maybe the Jam's just not your thing. So that's great. Thank you very much for sending that over. Okay, well, thanks everybody. I hope that was mildly interesting to you. It's a roundup of what records that have come away and people that I've met and interacted with. Yeah, look out for my next video. Thanks very much. Bye.